Hello all, welcome to this fourth lecture of Module 9 on subsurface drainage design. My name is Amey Pathak, and in this class we are going to discuss the uh, important part of subsurface drainage design. So we'll start with the steady state condition and we'll see the derivation of Foucault formula. But let's have a recap of what we have studied in the last class. So in the last class we were talking about the flow patterns. Okay, and so we have seen, so this is actually this diagram denotes the head losses in pipe drainage system, pipe drainage flow. And uh, and this head loss may be or head loss may be because of different types of flow. Vertical flow, so this is the head loss due to vertical flow, this is the head loss due to horizontal flow that is happening like this, and this is the head loss due to radial flow because the flow is converging towards the pipe. So this is a head loss due to radial flow. And last is the entry flow that is happening near the uh, like just uh, uh, just near the pipe drain. Okay. Uh, okay. So this is actually the diagram that we have seen here. Most of the terms we have discussed before. So Q we have seen is the recharge. This L by 2 is the distance between which is between center of the drain and midway path between the total spacing. So the total spacing between two parallel drain is actually L, and this is half distance L by 2. Uh, okay, and then we have seen from this is a head loss due to vertical flow, so HV, and we have seen this each one of this head this flow one by one. So this is actually head loss due to vertical flow. So we have applied Darcy's law. So Darcy's law we have applied for this length dV. Okay. So this is head loss. This is a hydraulic gradient HV by dV multiplied by K. That's a vertical hydraulic conductivity. That will give the Q. So from that we have arrived at this equation HV is equal to Q dV by K. So that is actually the head loss due to vertical flow. And then we have seen the horizontal flow, head loss due to horizontal flow. For that, first we have seen that the QX, that is the horizontal flow that can be up in X direction at or any point X. Let's say if you assume any point X. So the discharge at this point X that is happening in this direction towards the drain horizontally can be written in this way. So Q is actually recharge and Q multiplied by the distance, this one. So the total distance is this LH by 2. So this is LH by 2 minus X. So this is LH by 2 minus X distance multiplied by the Q, that is the recharge, and that is actually the discharge or flow that is happening in this direction, in horizontal direction. Another way to write the same thing is using the Darcy's law that we have seen. So Qx is equal to K, that is the hydraulic conductivity, multiplied by dH, that is the conceptual average thickness, which is equal to D plus this H by 2. So this is D plus H by 2. Uh, okay, multiplied by DHX by DX. So this is the hydraulic gradient DHX by DX. So that is actually another way to write the QX, that is horizontal flow that is taking place. Equating these two and putting the limits like this, we can write, so we can solve from this in this way. So like from when X is equal to 0, Hx is equal to 0, and when X is equal to LH by 2, when X is equal to LH by 2, here Hx is equal to HH. H is actually your head loss due to vertical. So putting these limits, we can solve this and we can arrive at this expression Hx is equal to Q Ls square by 8K dH. Okay. So here you can see the slope is more steeper here than here. That is because more you come close to the drain, the slope will be more steeper. Uh, that is because the increasing amount of water passes through a decreasing cross sectional area, or you can say that the Qx increases and Hx decreases as you move towards the drain or in the direction of flow. So that gives the expression for head loss due to horizontal flow. Then we have seen the head loss due to radial flow, which can be derived from the Ernst equation. HR is equal to Q L by pi K, L and normal log of ADR by mu, where this is actually the geometric parameter, and this is your wet entry parameter, and that is actually the value can be taken differently depending on what kind of parameter we have, what kind of drain system we have. So in case of circle, we can consider as a out. We can consider U as a pi r naught, where r naught is actually your outside radius, or 2 r naught is actually outside diameter. If the drain is kept in the trench, then we can consider the wet entry parameter of this trench, and in case of trapezoidum, we can consider this as wet entry parameter of this trapezoidum. Then entry flow, although the entry flow we assume should be ideally it should be 0. So it's actually the entry flow is because of the head loss due to entry flow is because of the envelope material. So to avoid to have very low He, or He is equal to 0, the hydraulic conductivity of this envelope material that is placed around the drain should be very high, at least 10 times higher than the hydraulic conductivity of soil. And then so that's how we have seen the different types of flow patterns and head loss associated with different flow: vertical flow, horizontal flow, radial flow, and entry flow. Now let's see, let's explain this idea, and let's see the famous expression of our steady state condition given by the Hoogout. Okay. So Hoogout formula is actually based on Dupuytren-Franchimere assumption, and it is developed by a scientist from Netherlands in 1940, whose name is Hoogout. So these are the assumptions. So before that, let's see what are the assumptions in the Hoogout formula. So assumptions of Hoogout formulas can be summarized as follows. The first assumption is the soil is homogeneous and isotropic, means with respect to space df and in direction, the hydraulic conductivity is same. Then second is Darcy's law is valid for flow of water through soil in the drain. So we are using the Darcy's law. So again, the steady state condition and the homogeneous material. Then the impermeable layer underlies the drain. So that is another assumption. So below the drain, there exists an impermeable layer. Then the hydraulic gradient at any point in the flow regime is equal to the slope of water table above the point. So that is actually the assumption from the Dupuytren-Franchimere assumption. So irrespective of the depth, the flow regime is subjected to the slope of the water table above that point. Then drain have no interest resistance. That is another assumption, and the flow through drain is half full. These are the some assumptions in Hoogout formula. These are actually also some Dupuytren-Franchimere assumption is also included. So let's see. So Hoogout in 1940 has arrived at this equation. So in his formula, he has assumed that the head loss. He has assumed the head loss due to horizontal and radial flow, and he assumed that the vertical flow can be neglected because the values are very smaller. So the total head loss H can be written as a combination of head loss due to horizontal flow and radial flow. Okay. So this is the expression that we have seen in the last class for head loss due to horizontal flow, and this is head loss due to radial flow. So the expression to total head loss can be written like this by putting this value here. Okay. So now Hoogout, what he has thought that he has made some approximation, and Hoogout conceived that that a parallel open ditch system with the ditches reaching to the impermeable substratum could generate same discharge value Q for the same water table head H as an identically spaced drain system by reducing the depth, that is capital D, to the impermeable stratum. Okay, so essentially he has come up with the idea of equivalent depth. Okay, so let's see what it means actually. So he has seen that if you consider a parallel open ditch system with ditches reaching to the impermeable substratum, and this system can generate same discharge with same water table head as that of the identically spaced pipe drain by reducing the total depth D to impermeable substratum. So So this is the concept of equivalent depth. So let's see this thing, equivalent depth. So most drainage equations are based on the Dupuit-Fritzsche assumption, and this allows us to reduce the two-dimensional flow to one-dimensional flow by assuming that the flow lines are parallel and horizontal streams, and equipotential lines are vertical. So such flow pattern will occur as long as the impervious subsoil is close to the drain. Okay, so to make this kind of flow, uh, 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 so this kind of pattern should be there. Okay. So the Hoogout equation is based on the conditions if the impervious layer does not. So this the Hoogout equation, which considers some assumption, which is based on this assumption that uh, this impervious layer is close to the drain. If it is not happening, then there will be more radial flow that is converging toward the drain. Okay, so in that case, this Dupuit-Fritzsche assumption is not applied. Means the flow lines will not be exactly horizontal, and uh, so it will converge more toward the drain. So Hoogout, he has solved this problem by introducing an imaginary impervious layer to take into account of this, to take into account of head loss because of this converging radial flow. So he has assumed some impervious layer uh, close to the drainage base, and he has modified his equation in a such a way that uh, okay. So let's say this is the real case, and this is what the equivalent case that look like this. Okay. So if a pipe or open drain, so if a pipe or open drain do not reach to impervious layer, the flow lines will converge towards them. That we can see here, the flow lines are converging, is causing more head loss due to radial flow. So flow lines will not converge towards the drain, and thus uh, it will no longer will be horizontal. So horizontal flow will not be completely towards till the drain. There will be more convergence activity near to the drain. So this extra and the flow lines will not be long. So this flow lines will be resulting of that the flow lines will be more longer, or you can say elongated, and extra head loss is required to have same volume of water into the drain, and this extra head loss results into higher water table. So Hoogout introduced two simplification in his theory to account for this extra head loss due to radial flow. So first, what he assumed that he has assumed an impervious imaginary layer. So this is he has assumed this imaginary impervious layer uh, about the real one, which decreases the thickness of this layer. So this total thickness that was earlier d, now it is reduced to small d. Okay. So what he has done? So he has assumed an imaginary impervious layer above the real one, which decreases the thickness of the layer through which water flows through the drain. Okay. So he treated the horizontal and radial flow to the pipe drain as an equivalent flow. So this flow he treated as equivalent flow. So that take care of both radial flow and horizontal flow to imaginary ditches that are extended uh, with their bottom on an imaginary impervious layer to reduce them. Okay. So he treated this horizontal and radial flow to pipe or tile drain as an equivalent flow to imaginary ditches with their uh, bottoms reaching on the imaginary impervious layer at reduced depth. So by making this kind of assumption, the flow will essentially become more horizontal. So or we can take care of the radial head loss due to radial flow as well. Okay, so under this assumption, so you can see in figure B, the equivalent flow lines will be more essentially horizontal, and we can substitute the value of d instead of d, we can write smaller d. So by making this d smaller and making this, we are considering this as equivalent flow. So equivalent flow is nothing but we are also incorporating the head loss due to this radial flow while by reducing this depth d. So this equivalent depth d represent the imaginary thinner soil layer through which same amount of water will flow per unit time as that of the actual condition or like real condition. So the higher flow per unit area, so we have the higher flow per unit area introduced in this case. So this higher flow per unit area introduce an extra head loss, which accounts for the head loss that is caused by the converging flow lines due to radial flow. So by substituting, by making this kind of assumption, by considering the equivalent depth, uh, we can, by making substitution d is equal to smaller d, we can write this equation like this. So, so this expression is before considering the equivalent depth. Now, if you consider the equivalent depth approach, equivalent flow approach, this equation can be reduced like this. So radial component can be reduced. So H is actually essentially equivalent. So H is equal to Q Ls square by 8K this dH star. Okay. Then now in the next slide we'll see what this dH star means. So this is a real case that we have seen before. So real case means this is a total D, and we can see near to the drain the flow is converging. So there is both horizontal and radial flow that is happening here. But in equivalent case, we are forcing this impervious layer. We are assuming an imaginary impervious layer by reducing this depth D, so that the flow can take place mostly in horizontal direction. Okay. So now we can see, since this D is smaller than this capital D, so we have the less cross-sectional area that is available to us, and consequently, the more head is lost in the horizontal flow in equivalent case than in the real case. So this, the difference between these one, we can consider the difference between the head losses can be account for the radial losses. So indirectly we are considering the radial, the head loss due to radial flow as well. Okay. So the average thickness of the equivalent, so average thickness in this case of equivalent horizontal flow may be approximated as dH star. So this dH star is equal to D plus H by 2. H is actually your the total head that is driving the flow. So the average thickness can be taken as this D plus H by 2, and that can be inserted in this equation. And by solving this equation, we can arrive at this form: H is equal to QL square upon 8K D plus H by 2, or we can write it in this way in terms of Q. Q is actually your recharge or discharge, because we are talking about steady state. Q is equal to 8K, that is hydraulic conductivity, dH by L square plus 4K H square by L square. So here K is actually hydraulic conductivity, D is actually your equivalent depth, H is actually your head loss, total head loss, L is actually your spacing, okay, and Q is actually your discharge through there, or the discharge or the flow discharge that is represented by Q. So this is actually this represents the steady state drain spacing formula for pipe drainage system. Okay, so now we can see, since we have considered the equivalent flow approach, so equivalent horizontal flow takes place partly below the drainage base. So we can divide it into two parts. So one part below the drainage base, so this is your drainage base. Below drainage base for thickness D, and partly above for thickness of this flow zone is approximated as H by 2. So the same thing, same formula is written here. So these two components are represented by this first term. So first term represent the flow that is happening below the drainage base, and this is not. This is actually above the drainage base. So Hogarth spacing formula for this. This is the Hogarth spacing formula for pipe drainage system. Now, if the soil is having a different hydraulic conductivity, especially above the drainage base, hydraulic conductivity is different, and below it is different, then we can consider, we can substitute the value here. So L square is equal to the same expression in terms of L square is equal to 8K2 dH upon Q plus 4K1 H square by K. So where K2 is actually the hydraulic conductivity, K2 is actually your hydraulic conductivity of below the drainage base, and K1 is actually hydraulic conductivity that is above the drainage base. So accordingly, we can substitute the values here. So now, if you look closely at this equation, we can see the D is actually a function of D, L, and U. Okay. So U is actually your wet entry parameter. So this D and L are actually independent parameter, and they are actually like they can be solved like they can be solved by substituting the value. So there are different approaches that those approaches we will see in the subsequent slide. So D, that is a equivalent depth, is a function of D, L, and U. The analytical expression for this relationship between D, L, and U is actually is written here. When the total D, so that is so this is your total D, is far greater than L by 4. So this when this D is greater than L by 4, then in that case, equivalent depth can be calculated by this expression. Whereas when D is smaller than L by 4, then we can calculate using this equation. So the solution of this equation can be either through analytical expression by substituting the value, or by using the table or the graphical solution. So that we'll see in the subsequent slides. Now, if you see that if you assume that impervious layer is far below the drain, so if impervious layer is far below the drain, so then in that case, let's say when D is far bigger than H, so this D is far bigger than H, then essentially flow will be more like horizontal. So in that case, uh, we can neglect this term and we can calculate the L square by using this. L square is equal to 8 kd H by Q. So in that case, we can neglect the flow that is happening above the drainage. So in situation when there is no distinct impervious layer, okay, or layer is far deeper, uh, then depth D can be taken as equal to the depth at which the hydraulic conductivity value has decreased 1/10 of average hydraulic conductivity of layer above it, provided that no highly impermeable layer occurs within 1 to 2 meter below this depth. So such that can be considered as an impervious layer, uh, given that the hydraulic conductivity of that layer is actually 1/10 of the average hydraulic conductivity of the layers above it, and uh, below at least 1 to 2 meter below that layer, there is no highly permeable layer is there. Okay. So using that thing, we can find the depth. So this is actually expression when the hydraulic conductivity is significantly different, or this is the expression for steady state drain spacing using L. Okay. And this is the expression to calculate the value of D, which is actually a function of D, L, and U. So let's see what is the normal procedure that we follow in determination of drain spacing using Hugot formula. So first, your formulation of first step is actually formulation of basic design discharge Q, and that is actually basic design discharge, and the height to drainage base from the soil surface, that is H. Establishment of field drainage base. Sorry, so this first is formulation of basic design discharge Q, and H. H is actually your depth to water table. So depth to water table means this. This we have seen in the last. Yeah. So this is your H. So depth to midpoint of water table. So that is your first step to find to have basic drainage discharge and value of H. Then establishment of field drainage base means that is denoted by W, and then hydraulic head H is or total head loss H is equal to W, or head H is equal to W minus H. Okay, so this is the H that is driving the flow. Okay. Then establishment of soil parameter uh, like hydraulic conductivity K if the conductivity is same, or if it is different then K1 and K2, and D, value of D. Okay. Then selection of drain type, either pipe or the system, and determination of wet entry parameter U of the drain that we have seen in the last class. In case of yeah, so this is the value of U for uh, like you can calculate the different value of wet entry parameters depending on different cases. Okay. Then determination of drain spacing L by solving the Hugot equation. So this step is actually that is the solution of Fugate formula, can be done either by trial and error or by graphical means. So let's see how to solve it. So this is a trial and error procedure. So first, now since we have seen that the L depends on small d, that is equivalent depth, and d depends on L. So Fugate equation is an implicit equation. So to solve this, we can in trial and error procedure, what we can do, we can assume the value of spacing L, and we can determine the value of d either from this equation or from the table. So if you want to calculate from this equation, so this can be used, or from the table, this table can be used. And depending on the combination, we can, okay, so let's see this table. So this is a table. So let's assume some value of L, let's say 30. And let's say if you have 2 meter depth of impervious layer. So for 30 and 2 meter depth, so you have d is equal to, small d is equal to 1.55 meters. Okay, so this is equivalent depth that is commonly used for pipe drains with outer diameter R naught, outer radius R naught is equal to 4 to 10 centimeter, and wet entry parameter approximately 0.2 meter. So if you assume L is equal to 30 meter and depth to impervious layer is 2 meters, so you get initial gas as 1.55 as equivalent depth. So for, or so that you can substitute. So for so if d is greater than 1/4 of L, so in that case d is constant, mostly can taken as constant. So in this case, first let's say we have assumed, let's say d is equal to 30 and sorry, L is equal to 30 and d is equal to 2 meters. So this is the equivalent depth value, 1.55 meter. So that value can be substituted in the Fugate equation, and we can solve for L. And then we can see whether our assumed value of L and the calculated value of L from this equation, in which we have substituted the value of smaller d, if this L and the initial gas values are same. If not, then we have to assume that L, and then again we have to solve for uh, the L until we get the L value approximately equal to the assumed value. So this is a trial and error. So next is actually your graphical solution. In graphical solution, so this is a graphical solution. So these are the nomograph for solution of Fugate equation for drain spacing formula. So this nomograph covers most conditions normally encountered in the pipe drain system, pipe drain design, with head H is equal to range 0.1 to 1.2 meter, and Q is equal to 1 to 10 mm per day. Okay, and this nomograph is for spacing 5 to 25 meter, and this is for 10 to 100 meter. So on x-axis, on left hand side of x-axis, you have value of 8K2 by 8K2 H by Q. On right hand side of, sorry, on left hand side of y-axis, you have the value of 8K2 H by Q. On right hand side of this y-axis, you have value of 4K1 H square by Q. Okay. So and these are the value, this 5, 6, 10, 12, 14, 15, 18, 20 and 25 are value of L, and these values are actually that 0.5, 0.751, 1.52, 3, 4 are actually, these are the value of D. Okay. Similarly, same thing is written here for spacing 10 to 100 meter. Okay. So what we can do, first we have to calculate the value of 8K2 H by Q and 4K1 H square by Q, and then we have to draw the line where this line meets, and we already know the value of D, and where these two lines meets and value of D meets, where these three value meets, that L value we have to select. Okay. So for all, another important thing that we have to take care of this in this case. So for all practical purpose, this graph is valid for pipe installed in 20 to 25 centimeter wide range with wet entry parameter value approximately equal to 0.3 meter. So let's see one example in which trial and error procedure and graphical solution is explained. So this is one example. So in which we have to determine the required drain spacing L for basic design criteria Q is equal to 7 per day. So this Q is already known to us. So this design should work for Q is equal to 7 mm per day, and H is given as 0.6 meter. Okay, and this W is equal to 1 meter, and this D is actually given as 3 meter. So from drainage base to impervious layer, the depth is 3 meter. The hydraulic conductivity of upper layer, that is the layer above the drainage base, is actually 2 meter per day, and below this drainage base, the hydraulic conductivity K2 is given by 1 meter per day. So this is slightly lesser hydraulic conductivity than this one. The wet entry parameter value is given as 0.3 meter. The outer diameter of this drain is actually your 0.2 meter. So we can use these two methods to solve the find the value of L here. So let's assume first we have to assume some guess. Let's assume L is equal to 40 meters. So that is the spacing between these two drains. That is L can be assumed as 40 meter, and we have D is equal to 3 meter and U is equal to 0.3 meter. Okay. So let's see the table approach here. So from table, uh, let's select L is equal to 40 meter and D is equal to 3 meter. So this is a table. So in which let's assume L is equal to 40 meter and D is equal to 3 meter. So if you can see, so L is equal to L is equal to 40 and D is equal to 3. So we can arrive a value of D is equal to 2.15. Okay, so smaller D is actually 2.15. And now the substituting value of D in the Hoogout equation, we can find the value of L, 34 meter. Okay. Now this 34 meter that we have calculated from this Hoogout equation is not equal to the initial guess value. That means our initial guess is not correct. That means we have to change the value. Now let's assume L is equal to 32 meter in this case. L is equal to 32 or somewhere here, 32 meter. And again, for depth, for D is equal to 3 meter, find the value of uh, find the value of D, 2 meters. So you have to do some kind of interpolation. So by substituting the value, by looking at the D is equal to 32 and L is equal to 32 and capital D is equal to 3. Let's see the value is around 2 meters, smaller D is equal to 2 meter. And then substituting this value in the Hoogout equation, we can see L is equal to 32 meters. So which is near to the initial guess, 32 meters. So we can select this L as a spacing. So this is a trial and error method. Another method is actually your graphical solution method. So in which let's calculate these two values first. That is 4K1 H square by Q and 8K2 H by Q. Okay. So we know the K1 that is given 2 meter, H that is given as so H is also known to us. So we know this 1 and this is 0.6. So this is the 1 minus 0.6. So H is equal to 0.4. Q is known to us, that is actually 7 mm per day. So similarly, by substituting this value, we can calculate the value of 4K1 H square by Q, that is 1 into 3. Similarly, this another quantity also can be calculated, 8K2 H by Q. K2 is also known to us, that is 1. Other parameters are known to us. So 8K2 H by Q, this value is 457, and 4K1 H square by Q is 183. So on left hand side, we have the value of, on left hand side of this y-axis, we have the value of 8K2 H by Q, and on right hand side, we have the value of 4K1 H square by Q. Okay. Now we have to draw a line, and we also know the D is equal to 3 meter. So these vertical lines represent a value of D, 0.5, 0.75, 1, 1.52, 3. So we know D is equal to 3. So on this line, we have to draw a line from this point, that is actually your, so this is actually line for 8K2H by Q, that is 457. So this value is 457. Similarly, value of 4K1 H square by Q is around 183. So this is 183. So we have to draw a line joining these 2 points, and we have to look at, we have to find the intersection value at D is equal to 3 meters. So D is equal to 3 meters is given. So this is the point at which it meets. Okay. So now we can see, and now we have to find the spacing. So on these are the lines for the spacing: 10, 15, 20, 25, 35, 30, 35, 40, 50, 45, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So we can see, so this lies between 25 meter spacing and 30 meters. This lies between 30 meter spacing and 35 meter spacing. So we can choose, so this is approximately around 33 meters. So that point can be selected. So that value can be selected as a spacing between these two drains. So right now we are seeing, so till now we are seeing the two approaches, the trial and error procedure and graphical expression. So this is how we can solve the Hugot equation by using this approach. Now let's discuss some more uh, uh, some more things related with the Hugot equation. Okay, so Hugot formula. We have seen Hugot formula. So if you assume all other variables remaining constant, the spacing L increases when the hydraulic conductivity decreases. Hydraulic conductivity increases. Okay. So so also you can see the K1 has like value has K1 has like relatively lesser influence than the value of K2. Okay. So between these two also K2 has more influence than K1. So the spacing L increases when K value increases. Uh, Q decreases. Second, L increases when small q decreases because it is inversely proportional. You can say inversely proportional to root Q. And also L increases when D increases. Okay. And H increases and L increases when H increases. That we can see here. Now, like when the drainage flow above the like the when the flow is when the flow above the drainage base is actually very smaller. Okay, so you can neglect the upper flow and you can just solve using this equation. So this is the simple Hugot spacing formula when flow above drainage base is neglected. When this H is very smaller, the when H is very smaller or the stratum below drain is more favorable to the drainage. Okay, so in that case, this term can be neglected. L square is equal to 8K2 dH by Q. That is this expression. So another case where we expect a very significant vertical flow, the relevant flow zone has very low hydraulic conductivity. Okay, so in that case, we can take H is equal to H minus HV instead of H. That value of H can be used. So when the hydraulic conductivity of when the hydraulic conductivity of upper layer is very low. So what it means that where a significant vertical flow is to be expected and the relevant flow zone has a very low hydraulic conductivity, H minus HV instead of H should be used in the hydraulic in the Hugot equation. So in that case, so this is some discussion on the Hugot equation. So like we have seen, what is the value of L, like how L is related with different parameters, and what will happen when H is very smaller. So we can neglect this one term, and when and when very significant vertical flow is expected, then we have to assume had like H minus HV. We have to assume. So with that, okay. So this is another. So this was Hugot equation. There are some more expression to calculate the L square. So this is Donald's formula, which is given by L square is equal to 4KQ, capital D plus H square minus D square. So these are the different formula for steady state formula to calculate the spacing between two drains. Okay, in a steady state condition. So in the today's class, we have derived the Hugot equation and we have seen how to solve Hugot equation. We have also seen in the equivalent depth concept and then how to solve the Hugot formula using trial and error approach and graphical approach. And we have seen how the spacing between two drains L is related with different parameters. So with that, we'll stop here for this class. Thank you.